Okay, I'm gonna keep this video nice and simple for you. If you have a ChatGPT subscription and have set up some custom GPTs, but haven't yet hit the part where AI is taking over your entire business and running every single operation while your profits skyrocket and you sit on a beach sipping a daiquiri or something like this, and you're probably starting to feel like you've been sold a dream by OpenAI and all of their hype men, which is why in this video, I'm going to show you the cold, hard stats and the truth around why a ChatGPT subscription just simply isn't enough if you don't know why already. What Stanford researchers are calling the Workslop epidemic, which I love that word and that phrase, and the one thing you must do to become a pilot user instead of a passenger in the AI revolution. Right now, if you need any reason to keep watching and listen to me, you can have a look and see that I'm actually one of 4 AI developers that are top rated in the Australian New Zealand region. Delivered over 25 successful projects, 229 total hours, and 100% job success score as well. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. OpenAI wants you to believe that ChatGPT will magically redefine how you work. The reality is that most people with ChatGPT subscriptions see zero productivity gains because they create these custom GPTs or even create some little AI agents that do actually conduct or automate some of their workflows for them, but they're isolated and they don't actually do that much. So a new Stanford study actually doubled down on this by publishing an article in the Harvard Business Review on September 22nd, where they surveyed 1,100 full-time employees and discovered something absolutely shocking, right? There's something shocking every single week in this space, but this one in particular is that 40% of all employees are producing what researchers have coined Workslop, which is polished looking content. You know exactly what I'm talking about, the little M dashes and things like that. But it's actually content that lacks substance and forces colleagues to spend nearly 2 hours per Workslop incident fixing it, right? So if we look at this on a financial scale, we'll cover social impacts in a second. But if we look at the financial scale of this, for a one person business, 2 hours every week or every month adds up to about $200 a month. So you basically have a subscription to Workshop for $200 a month and lose $2,200 every single year. That is what is costing these organizations per employee or per user every single year in lost productivity. And of course, that scales massively when you have more people in an organization. So with that being said, the worst part, these are the social impacts I was talking about, is that it shifts the burden downstream. Essentially, shit runs downhill, right? Unlike traditional automation that removes work, Workslop uniquely uses technology to offload work onto other humans, which is the exact opposite. AI actually relies on you to believe about ChatGPT, which is that it takes cognitive load off of you. So this is the dream that I'm talking about, the dream that they're selling you. And now, like I said, beyond financial costs, Workslop is just destroying workplace relationships. If you push shit downhill, people are going to get shit in their face. Sorry for the image, but I just need to get it out there. So this also compounds on what MIT found about a month or two ago. If you haven't heard about this, then I don't really know what you're doing. And it's that 95% of enterprise AI fails. And the point is that this was attributed to random AI implementation and poor guidance, much like what we see here and what I mentioned in the financial impact. Its unguided use is costing $2,200 per year. Because the question that I was asking myself when reading all of these articles was that what differentiates the 95% that are failing with the 5% that are using AI effectively? Stanford themselves actually goes on to distinguish between pilots who use AI to enhance creativity and then passengers who use it just to avoid work entirely. And like I said, offload that cognitive load onto someone else down the hill. So then the next logical question becomes, how do you escape the passenger? And most people think it's about learning better prompts, but it's much deeper than that, and honestly more foundational and simpler than learning how to prompt. Because if you can give AI the correct data, the right context, you don't even need to be that good at prompting. And Microsoft AI business solutions team has taught me, living with someone fortunate enough that works in this exact team, that no matter how good your prompt is, bad data introduced at any stage results in inaccurate answers, compliance risks, and lost efficiency, which is going back to this here. So just based off this statement, if you're not connecting your large language model or AI with the right data to give it relevant context about your specific task, you're going to continue to be a passenger here with the mask on and just reading your little magazine while there are people in the fighter jets here using the right context to feed their AI, and they're getting much better results. Furthermore, if I have to compound this problem into even more, Stanford research shows that as ChatGPT usage surges, the repeated production of similar information leads to a compounded homogenization effect, which equals more Workslop. Essentially, the core concept here that you need to remember is GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. The more the people talk to ChatGPT, the more garbage is going in and the more garbage is going to come out. And we're going to get this homogenization of everyone basically being a passenger, right? So the solution that I found is in integrating your own data. And obviously it's backed up by Microsoft as well. And for the past 6 months on Upwork, as you can see here in my profile, I've been solving this for clients by building centralized data hubs with personalized agents, as opposed to just selling them an isolated AI agent because some YouTube video told them that it was going to book them 10 more leads or something like this. So you can see my own Notion hub here that has all of my data inside. It has SOPs and process, goals, scorecards, which you can see just here, which has my Upwork outreach campaigns on it as well. Collab Porters, which has my revenue for the month, my expenses for the month, and things like this. And I've also built custom dashboards for my clients, like I mentioned here, which is essentially a financial dashboard that gives them all the information they need, and they can actually tap the AI assistant tab here and chat with the data. Again, they get that context that isn't producing Workslop. Now, the only way to become a pilot user is very clear, and that's ensuring the organization's data is clean and up to date. And this is obviously a non-negotiable. And this is what I've done with my own Notion hub. I've connected it to an AI agent here on Claude. So I'll actually show you what the prompt looks like because we're doing a little candid sit down here. But you can see the prompt is that you are a specialized YouTube analytics assistant with this expertise in and you can actually see that I'm running through its core task, explaining how to access the data inside my Notion, right? So I'm explaining how to access the campaign data for my YouTube performance because I use YouTube to attract clients. So if you're interested in booking a call or getting the free resource down below that I'll talk about in a second, then do that. But the point is that I'm giving you the instructions on how to perform its task as effectively as possible. Now, obviously, this is prompting, right? But what I'm talking about, the core skill of this video is making sure that you are telling the agent where to get the right context from. So with that being said, you can see I prompted this earlier just to give you an example of how much better the results of this agent is when connected to a hub, a centralized data hub. Like I said, garbage in, garbage out, how much better the report is, right? You can see it's got very personalized data, and this is not Workslop. This is something I can actually work on. So let's have a look and see. We got actionable recommendations. Implement link click tracking. I don't have any data in link click tracking section because I am not tracking my links currently. The next one is a retention crisis. The first 30 seconds of my videos are tanking, making sure that I add in some key statements like what I've done. You'll notice in my video here, I've actually taken that exact advice and shown my Upwork profile to give myself credibility so you actually listen. And I'm not going to go on all day here, but you can see how this is far from Workslop. This is work gold, for lack of better terms. So with that all being said, if you're interested in learning how I've actually prompted this agent and how I build my own Notion database and central data hub, or what I like to call digital nervous system, get the free resource below. I'm just going to film a loom like this, very candid, and you can set up your own situation. But if you're more serious and you want real actionable strategies to avoid the OpenAI dream trap and stop being a passenger in the AI age, then you can book a strategy call with me and we'll talk about how your data is currently set up, whether it's not set up at all, whether it's set up on Monday, Notion, or just not working for you, and how we can integrate that with a proper AI strategy. Then I'd love to chat. Please book a call and we'll go from there.